thrilled to have you join us on your journey to online success. We know you're eager to get started, and we're here to help you every step of the way. First things first, let's get you acquainted with your CPWE dashboard. You'll find everything you need right here. We've designed it to be intuitive and easy to use so you can access the tools and insights that matter the most. We've created a wealth of resources to help you master CPWE. Those are on the landing page of each tool. Remember, our team is here to help support you. Don't hesitate on reaching out with any questions. You are joining a community of forward-thinking professionals who are leveraging the power of AI to elevate their online presence. Welcome aboard. We're excited to be part of your success story. So, what are you waiting for? Log in, explore the platform, and start unlocking your full potential.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? James Collins here, CPWE AI.
Chris Stevens, the
We're going
same.
to talk about some AI tonight. Talk about building it, talk about selling it, talk about how you can potentially leverage AI in your current situation, whether you're a business owner or a personal use case. We may go over all of it. We're not exactly sure how far we're going to get, but we're going to try to introduce some at least ideas of things you could do. One thing we've been working on specifically is servers and hooking servers up for AI applications, because we all know that getting data from ChatGPT to our business, it goes somewhere that you're unaware of where it goes. So Chris and I have been talking about VPS servers and maybe some requirements that you would
Tell them
need.
what that is.
VPS is a virtual private server hosted by a hosting agency, such as Hostinger, or there's quite a few that offer server space. Amazon, obviously the biggest one, you can use for corporate server space. The Amazon Light Sale for the hobbyist and user. So we're just going to talk about some servers for a minute. What would you say is a good starting point for someone?
All right, I'll tell you exactly where anybody who's looking at a server needs to start is to answer one simple question: what do I want to do? Because that, if you can't answer what do I want to do, then you don't know what you're going to wind up spending way more money than you need to, and you're not going to know what specs you need. Right. So like for me, I'm at some point, probably this week, maybe this coming weekend, I'm going to stand up a bigger development server, because I have one stood up, and it's just not enough hardware for what I want to try on it. I stood up a very small one, 16 gigs RAM, I think 4 virtual cores, and it does fine for automation. But in the spirit of constantly evolving, we are trying to make it where we are hosting our own open source AI, our own open source automation platform, our own open source voicing platform for speech to text and text to speech, for things like, voice agents, and if you're on Telegram and you want to use a voice memo, you can do that, and you then get a voice reply. And all of that takes more hardware than the server that I've got running. The weird thing though is when me and you started, we would build a box, and you would get a Intel Core i7 or this was before the AMD Threadrippers, so it would be a AMD Athlon, I think is what they were, and put as much RAM as you could in it, and the biggest hard drives that you could find, and then just load it up. Well, now you can just click a couple of times, and then and then pick an OS that's going to work with all of that, all of those different components. Hope you got all the specs matching, and or spend a month researching the specs, which is I've done it both ways. Uh, but here, a couple clicks, and they're spinning up a virtual server. So what they've got is a big virtual host that is like just a giant disk array, and it's just, I mean, if you can imagine all the horsepower just crammed in this box, and then they've got a little interface that they carve out, whatever you're paying for, and load up an OS on it, an operating system, usually Linux, but you can do Windows if you really want to.
Who wants to?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this. Yeah, sure I am. When I first got into the job that I'm in now, so this was back in 2011, we were switching from most sites were using, all right, most sites were using an operating system called VMS, and they ran their database and their application on top of that. But some sites were running Windows and running their database and application on top of it. And so, I mean, you're talking out of 30 sites, we had, I think, 5 of them that we had to totally change the migration cookbook to accommodate this Windows environment. It was not super awesome.
It wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't. Unless you were using, here's a funny irony of the world. Unless you were using Windows 8.
They weren't.
You know how many people dog Windows 8 still to this day? Like Windows 8, the most terrible Windows ever. If you are a server administrator, you know the power of Windows 8 and Server 2012, the way they hooked up like peanut butter and jelly. They did really good together, but they were the only two that did good together. Nothing else.
They were using, what was the server version of Windows XP?
Server 2000. Because XP was 2003. You did have a Windows Server 2003.
Yeah, they were on Server 2003, I think.
It went from 3 to 8 to 12.
Yeah, I know they didn't have 12. It was either 2000 or 2003 that they were running. And it was weird because they accessed it through a command line, which seems like the only reason you would want Windows as your operating system for that is so you had the GUI.
Right.
I don't know who set it up. They sure didn't ask me about it. And why would they? I mean, but yeah, so what we're wanting to do is, when we get a client, we'll stand them up their own virtual private server. We'll have their own automation suite. Then we'll have their own database. We'll have their own AI model or models. It's multiple. And that way, when they put and if needed, we can make all of this FIPS and HIPAA compliant.
And NIST compliant.
And NIST compliant. Yeah, all the compliances from all the agencies, we can do it. And that way, when a company, if a company has sensitive data, which if you have a company, your data is yours and it's all sensitive, you don't have to worry about uploading it and it going to China or North Korea or Russia or whoever the bad guys are this week. You know that information is secure on your server. Granted, it'll come out of our pockets, but it'll be covered in the monthly maintenance fee. And the only people that will have administrative access to it is me and James. And you know what? If it gets hacked, that's on us too. So, I mean, It could be a tiny bit more secure, but not much. I mean, the only way it would be more secure is if you had physical hardware at each location. That would be it. And that whole idea is going the way of the dodo. So
I'll put a security onion in the Docker swarm watching our API calls, because I'm an API hacker by trade. There's only a very handful of us out there anyway, programmer, but I played around in the hacker world for a while just to learn OSINT, learn um, the MITRE methods, different things about virtualizations and how to protect yourself. So I know that is way off of our subject here, but let's bring it in a little bit, where you were talking about voice servers or voice agents and setting up a server, and your current server not being big enough to handle what you're trying to do. Uh,
well,
just throw out specs of what you're looking to run. What would a professional who wants to put this out there for a client want as specs?
okay, so and it depends on the size of the client, it depends on the complexity of the workload, it depends on the expected traffic. All three of those are very important, um, because it addresses all of the big resources. So let me get back down to this.
How many
So
calls per month? How much data storage? How much?
right, so with the complexity of the workflow, that's CPU cores and RAM. All right, the without getting too far into the weeds, the biggest one, single server that we would set up would be 16 cores, 64 gigs of RAM. Now, when you're talking about the amount of data, that's storage. This particular one has 1,280 gigs of SSD storage. When you're talking about how much, traffic, that's port speed, that's data transfer speeds and data transfer amounts. This has 64 terabytes. This is per month of transfer and 10 gigabits of port speed. Man, you'd have to have one hell of a site to outdo that. And you know what? If you did, we can cluster them.
Yeah,
So
I can't think of anything that needs more than that at this point.
well, I can, but I mean, you would be talking about something like the federal government. Well, no, even maybe state government would probably be like that too. But you at that point, you would be talking about an enterprise solution. You're
Right.
not that's not a small medium business. That's not, you know, maybe a large healthcare system. They might need a couple of those, but even that, man,
And so
that
what does that run per month?
100
$100 a month.
96 plus tax.
So for the best, it's $100.
Yep.
So it's going to be $100 or less for a server setup, an email setup. We'll be getting that. We'll be getting which is free. What else did you mention that a customer would need if we were setting them up? You said a server, an email.
I said a Gmail account, or we could actually have our own email server. That'd be easy enough too. They have integrations with, I was just looking at them, like 7 or 8 or 9 different email clients. Granted, I don't want to get into email management. That seems horrible. I can barely manage my own email. But a Gmail account, because everything is connected to Google. A VPS, and on the VPS we would have their own. We're about to go head first into the weeds. their own Docker configuration running N8N and probably Olama and VoiceFlow and Postgres SQL, maybe, or Quadrant. Yeah, probably Postgres, because they seem to be the most widely available in automation spaces. And then
because you do need a database for this. If you're
yeah,
running automations, what happens is whenever you make a call, it's a memory step that it saves to a database. It'll save what their answer was, what your question was, and you can adapt that data to any kind of application where it'll save first name, last name, email. You can take that data and pull it anywhere you want to. So the purpose is you want a database because databases is how you store data.
well, and I mentioned this on one of the other calls. People that are trying to get into this same solopreneur space. One thing that they never mention on all of these TikTok videos that seem to flood my feed, when they're like, watch me create this blah, blah, blah automation in 30 seconds or whatever they say. What they're not mentioning is every piece that they're using, they're paying a subscription fee for. Just throw your API in here. Okay, for $20 a month, or even worse, a per use thing, because you don't pay attention to that, and then all of a sudden your credit card gets hit for $100 because you've not been paying attention. So what we are trying to do, and we're really close. I'm really close to figuring all of this out. I got to wait till my new laptop gets here because mine shit the bed, and that's a whole. I'm pretty salty about that, but I guess it's a business expense, whatever. But what we're trying to do is make it where we can do all of this, and it would be or will be individual to the client. I'm not gonna have 3 clients running on the same, N8N profile. That's a great way to get everything mixed up quickly. So each client has their own stuff, and we're trying to make it all open source, which means free to use if you host it locally or self-host it. And so there's no that you pay a monthly maintenance fee, whatever that is, and it is unlimited use for whatever. So, or well, not whatever you've hired us to build. But that is the idea. I think it's a great idea. I don't think anybody else is doing that.
So I'll recap what you just said from my perspective. Just correct me if I'm wrong. First off, this is CPWE.BIZ, B-I-Z, Bravo, Indigo,
Zulu.
Zulu. My military stuff is way off. But either way, CPWE.BIZ will be our platform website for our services for these types of things. And what we're trying to do is set up a free solution for you up front when it comes to the multiple subscriptions. On our white label, that's what we started that for, is so we could pull all of the AI models into one platform, build a bunch of really useful and cool tools, and then make them available to everybody that they could own, they could sell, they could use their personal data. You have your own little server space. Now, Chris and I has taken that corporate model and broken it down into a service model. For a small, medium-sized business, setting up a virtual private server with these subscriptions, getting us hiring us to do this AI work for you. you will end up with a deliverable that works, and you can use it as much as you need to, and it's secure.
And
It's compliant.
And I forgot to mention this. This is because all of that stuff that we said does not mean anything if a user or a client or potential client can't see the value in it, right? Well, here's the value in doing it the way we're talking about. So you pay, you hire us to do an automation, and it's however much setup fee, and then we'll call it, for easy math, a $250 a month maintenance fee. Well, you love your automation so much, you have another idea for another automation. Cool. You don't have to, we don't add anything to the maintenance fee. One-time setup fee, and that's it. So you're going in saving on that second automation, saving $250 a month. Third automation, fourth automation, whatever. Setup fee, one monthly maintenance fee. The only time that would change is if we would have to stand you up another server, which, like I said, that would be a hell of an automation setup to need two of these. So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I appreciate that. That was really good, because consider that you will, as you roll AI into your business practices, you'll have a more of an office manager. You'll have more of a content creative that builds maybe forms and puts stuff for your bulletin boards, your safety, your marketing, your email drips that are going out. All of that's going to be automated. It's a matter of time. And once all of that stuff goes automated, you're going to start seeing the value in maybe something specific to your business. And that's where Chris and I come in. And we build that thing specific for your business, which gives you the competitive edge because you're solo and you've got this done. But keep in mind, you got a software engineer and a server engineer on your team for that next automation and that next one and that next one. So if you get the competitive edge and jump out there, now you're going to go even further.
I am going to start calling myself an AI automation engineer. I think that's probably a more, yeah, I like that. I'm gonna do that. I need to write that down. I'm not going to, so I'll forget it later, but I'm going to. And
well, we're AI certification. We offer AI certification.
I probably ought to do that.
I have a full certification class that it's 100% legit. You will be called an AI certified specialist after you complete our certification.
And I want to throw this out there too, if you don't mind. A lot of people, and I can hear it now, and it's going to be the people that are older than us, right? And so it's going to be your older business owners are thinking, I don't need AI. Okay, well, you know what? In 1990, I don't need an email address. Okay. In 1995, I don't need a website. Okay. In 2005, I don't need a social media profile. I mean, you see the trend, and AI is not going away. In 2006, I don't need a smartphone. When's the last time you saw someone with a damn Motorola Razr? I mean, come on now. And AI is the same way. It's one of those things. It seems like a novelty now, even though it's been integrated for how long? James, you've been doing AI automation industrially for a long time, right?
Probably overlapping the AI space for 14 to 16 years.
And it started off with a more rudimentary thing where it was like, a hard coding if then statements. If this happens, then you do this. And that's not really artificial intelligence. That's more algorithmic processing. But AI is not going away. They have spent way too much money developing this. I mean, you have Google that just released a quantum computer chip that is the most powerful thing since the Big Bang. And it's specifically
It goes into another dimension.
yeah.
That's
Dude,
unbelievable.
and it's got to be.
Speaking of Google and proof, young Jacob from Jacob's Lawn Care Service gave me a call yesterday morning. I forgot to tell you
Oh, what
about
happened?
this. He called me up and he goes, James, this is Jacob. And I was like, yeah, Jacob, I got your number saved. He goes, man, what did you do? I'm getting all kinds of calls from my website. He's like, I got our competitors here in town. They know my name now. He was over the top. I was like, are you going to do me a video interview? I told him about Google kicking his website off last week. I looked and figured out why. This website had over 6,000 clicks on it in less than a month. He went viral and Google kicked his website off. Couldn't figure out what it was. Let me tell you what it was. It's an unfair freaking advantage. It's called AI. I built his website for him with our tools, and they're that good that they went viral on a website just straight 30 days seasoning
And that's
a
on a
web
local lawn care.
on a lawn care.
Yeah. Now imagine what a business could do with us as their partners if they were looking. And Jacob is one guy. There's only so many hours in the day. There's only so much, in theory, with just him, that only so much that he's going to be able to grow, right? I mean, he's not going to be working 18 hours a day, I hope, because that's a hell of a way to make a living. But now imagine what a company could do if they had a little motivation and were ready to grow.
Ready to scale.
I mean, come on. You know,
I mean, I would say that we're your scaling experts. You got people like, what's his name? Alex Hermosi. That dude's a genius. He's one of those guys, man, that he grinded from the ground up. He tells his story where for 3 months he's living in a basically a one room eating ramen noodles. This dude makes like 10 million a month now.
that's gross.
He's pretty amazing. And not only that, but he's super
I'd only
smart.
work 1 month.
And
I'd work 1 month.
he he puts all these little acronym things together and these 6-step processes for this and this. Well, I drive an hour and 12 minutes to work one way and an hour and 12 minutes
Yeah,
home.
mine is about 50 minutes now.
I've been listening to him every day for about 10 days, 11 days. And I listened to his whole sales video and listened to a few other things. But you got people like him that if you went out to his website, he's always talking acquisition.com and do the scale deal. He's got a roadmap on there that'll blow your mind. Like as business owners to know right where you're at to scale to the next level. So we're not your scaling experts. Those guys are your scaling experts, but our tools will get you there. You get the roadmap and we'll put the knuckles behind it, if that makes sense. We'll make the 30 ads a month where the competitor's only doing 3. And we'll run 9 split tests and track every number you need to. We'll figure it out. Those types of things are important. So those are the things we value, or the things that'll make you more profitable and us more profitable. So we're trying to do this as a business. So treat us like that, please. I know how computer guys are. The programmers get called, hey, my internet.
Oh my God, yeah.
Pull your hair out. We're talking next level stuff here, and we're just helping you along the way. Look at us as like a rec center where you can come play basketball and YMCA, all that stuff, gym, whatever. We offer the tools so you can get into online shape. You can start ranking in Google. You could start building your profiles. You could start making this stuff like we are to be ahead of the curve and do some competitive advantage type strategic moves before the whole world wakes up to this. Right now, it's a short window. It's been a short window for a while, but now the tools are good enough. And you got people who are good enough
and more
to put them
available.
together. And way more available. Yeah. And it's getting smarter daily, and people are putting their time and effort into this now.
Because
It's
if
really,
you would have tried this 7, 8, 10, maybe 11 months ago, you would be looking at a $30, $20 a month subscription per tool that we have. What do we have? 50, 60, 70 tools. So $20 a month times 70. What is that? Quick math. 70 times 20, 1,400 bucks a month to do just to get access to the tools. We're not talking about, that's not counting the OpenAI fees or Google, because Google owns Gemini, or any of that. And then from the actual client side, if you were to get an automation built 11, 12 months ago, you would be looking at $10,000+, and then you would still have to have tokens on Chat GPT and tokens on Google and credits on this and blah 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 blah. We're the only company that is trying to do this where you have one fee monthly and as much use as you can do. I mean, we're the only, when I say we're the only ones, search the web. Please search. Don't just use Google. Use Google, use DuckDuckGo, use Bing, whatever search engine you want. You're not going to find another company that is going to provide you with unlimited use of any AI model with automations for one monthly fee. It will always be a monthly fee and access to your Chat GPT API, because that is going against your Chat GPT credits that they probably won't tell you about up front until your shit stops working, and then they have to troubleshoot it and say, oh, you're out of API credits. We've been down this road. We're the only ones. I mean, and someone will say that's crazy, but you know what? Einstein was called crazy too. So was Copernicus. So was Leonardo da Vinci. So were the inventors of OpenAI.
Mm-hmm.
They were called crazy too.
Mm-hmm.
So, you take that for what it's worth. I'm not comparing myself to those geniuses, but I'm saying that this is an innovative process. And not only is nobody else doing it, nobody else will. I don't know if they just haven't thought of it, and me telling it to the world and probably isn't the greatest way to keep that a secret, but
no, at this point it's just too easy to gouge. It's greed. It really is.
Or here's the other thing they'll do, which we won't do. They'll say, yeah, your monthly maintenance fee is $500. And then you start using, getting more traffic and using it more than they thought. Oh, hey, we're going to have to up your maintenance fee to $750 a month. It's going to have to up to $1,000 a month. No, hell no. That's not what we're doing. I keep I'm pointing at another screen. I don't know if anybody saw that. But yeah, that's not what we're doing. We're really, really trying to make this where everything, and enterprise grade. This isn't some, just piece it together and hope it works. This is reliability. This is 99.9% uptime. This is enterprise grade software that we have. Enterprise grade automations that work every time.
And Chris is in the AI server engineer, guys. Like, this guy isn't just pie in the sky. He's been doing this for 15 years full time, and he's one of the best at the field that I've ever met. And I'm a computer programmer by trade. I went to college and got a degree in it. And then I started out in software and still in the software engineering and type career fields. We do this stuff for fun because we like it. We understand you may not, but the end result that you want somebody like us on your team, regardless. And you're getting that by either joining our tools, uh, being a part of our communities. We have a school community that we're about to start up, but within our tool set, we got a full community in there. You have access to ask us questions on the simplest of things too. It's not going to drive us crazy if you're using our tools. We are going to meet you where you are and
Yeah,
be
totally.
happy that you're in there doing that.
And
We are going to be looking down.
the school community, what I am thinking, and we've touched base on this briefly, I think. And this would be geared more towards, well, you know what? I didn't come up with this idea. I saw it from a woman named Sabrina Romanoff. Uh, she mentioned not AI classes, but AI instruction, especially automation. And because if we're being honest, nobody, you know, who's building AI models, those guys with $100 billion endowments.
Yeah.
Nobody else is doing it. We're incorporating their software as part of a bigger package. And it doesn't matter what company you go to, they're doing the same thing.
You have to.
But yeah, they have to. Otherwise, we'd have to have a server farm, which nobody wants to pay for. I don't want to see the electricity bill on one of those. But anyway, she had mentioned coursework for AI related stuff for children. So that I thought would be an interesting thing to put on the school thing. And then also, you know, I want to do in-depth walkthroughs broken down into manageable pieces, because sometimes my ADD gets the better of me and I don't want to watch a 45-minute long video of some blowhard talking to a computer screen. I would much rather watch a 5-minute video of some blowhard talking to a computer screen.
Understood.
But where was I going with that? Oh yeah. But in-depth videos on setting up various types of the automations, you know, spinning up a BPS, how you do all of that stuff from the ground up.
Here in Russellville, we have what's called an innovation hub, and they have a big grand opening or whatever it is, just an innovation thing going on June 12th here in Russellville. So if you want to ride, I'm in your neck of the woods. I'll come pick you up and you can ride down. And we could go up there and kind of explore that avenue and see where we could potentially share this information with people, especially like the kiddos, because you know I was a foster parent for 15 years. You touched a nerve, and I like to see them kiddos learn an instrument, and I like to see them get where they're self-motivating and understand the value of starting a project and finishing a project. And we start that with school, and we start that early. It's like, this is work, but when I say I go to work, this is what I do at work, is I do little things and I have to do a lot of them and get them done. All of your homework is the same way. You're doing work too, and we'll meet up after work today, and things like that, where these kids to the stories to the kids, using AI to figure out ways to stimulate the self-esteem where they feel like they're worth something. If you can
Mm-hmm.
figure out a way to do that, get over those crazy things your parents do to you. Right? I have a good story right now, but it's not for the public. It's one of those that the things your parents do to you and the way that that can affect you and the way you can potentially not move forward in life because you don't feel good enough or you don't feel like you don't deserve it. And it could have been the smallest thing that somebody said to you. It could be anything that causes that reaction. And them little kiddos that I raised up, and so many of them, I got to see how the differences in their little personalities based on the way they were treated. And it's terrible. It's horrible what people do to each other. And this is just the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take at least any resources that I can bring and bring them to help that situation, that community, if at all possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Would your monitor go black?
Yeah, I know it shows on my glasses, it'll go dark, you know.
Mm.
It drives me insane. I got this, I broke my other one. And it's time, you know, we started the idea of this is humbling, but we started with $30 mics and $20 cameras and just coming out here and being real with people. There will be a day when our productions get better and we're doing the whole spending hours on our thumbnail, but this is just growth. And we're enjoying this process as we go.
Mm.
And we have been growing twice the rate of what I expected already. We already have tons of proof. We have an AI certification. We have tools that work. We have services that are unmatched in quality. We need help all the time with knowledge. That's the reason why Chris and I both have something going in our ears all the time while we're on our way to work. That's what you should be doing if you're that type of individual who's looking to better yourself. Well, start doing that by choosing your content that you put in your ears and make sure that it's edifying you towards your goals. And in my case, like I was talking about earlier, Alex Harmozy, uh, his, I like how he's real. Like the one I listened to today, he says, man, you may not think it's a big deal. You just throw a piece of gym equipment out there on the internet. But let me tell you who's going to look at that. Me. He says, I love it. He said, I love shiny new objects when it comes to gym equipment. I was like, man, I get it. Guitars, man. I can't keep my eyes from doing this in the background because I know how good you play them. But you got a nice one back there. I like that white Ibanez.
You,
Is it real?
you can, dude, you can fucking have it. It's a 7 string, and the full bridge position has
Yeah.
shorted out on the switch. So,
You know, I
well,
work on these all the time.
well, yeah, I can fix it too, but time is the problem, and I don't like it. It was the cheapest one that I could find because I was like, oh, I want to get a 7 string.
I think that that's the exact guitar I wanted. And it was one that it fit my hand. It was an old cheapo
That
7
one,
string Ibanez. Yeah. One just like it. I think it was.
$50. It's yours.
We may have to work on that.
I'm absolutely not kidding. I think I paid $250 for it.
I remember they were pretty cheap for what it was. I really like it.
Yeah,
On it
the
back
the
there. I'm
one
not
that
gonna your stuff, but it looks. Uh-oh. Pulling out the PRS on us.
Yeah, that's the one that. Yeah, that
Seen you play
don't
it, man.
mind those boxes in the background.
Man, there's nobody judging you.
Yeah, that custom 24. Those are the stock pickups,
Yeah,
and
man.
they call them HFS pickups.
Mm-hmm.
Hot, fat, and screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that
The dragons in them. The dragon pickups.
yeah, that's the best sounding guitar I have.
Is
I
that
have this.
Tremonti back there?
Do what?
Is that Tremonti I'm reading on that headstock right behind your head?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
say Tremonti?
that's a Tremonti custom, and it's got the DiMarzio 36th anniversary pickups in it. And then both of these PRSs I've upgraded with locking tuners. And then let me see if I can do this. And then there's the Wayne's World 2 edition Strat. Wayne's
Nice.
World 2, because that's a Mexican Strat. It's not the Squire.
Right.
And it's actually got Texas special pickups.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Perfect.
yeah, I've gone through about 10 different pickup configurations with it. I
Oh,
mean, I've had it with humbuckers, with 2 pickups, with 1 volume, 1 tone, and then we got the Les Paul traditional 4, I think, gold top, and then the cheapest bass that Amazon had, and then that gray bass is a USA PV that belonged to my grandpa when he died back in '07, no, '05. So there's no telling how old that is. And then that's the Tremonti, and then that one I built,
right.
that Telly looking one. And then we got the 12 string acoustic right there, and then that one closest to me, I guess, is a Epiphone acoustic electric, and that one belonged to my grandpa when he died
I
too.
like that thin body on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's
That's
it's
sharp.
it's really really comfortable to play. Um.
Yeah, man. I still, of all the players I've played music with, and we're talking hundreds at this point for 20 years, you still make me the sickest. Yeah, you drive me crazy, man. How you do it, I have no idea. Let me just tell you what Chris does. He can listen to a song one time, just once, and then play it. And then it's in his music book. Like me, it takes me 45 minutes to get the hook. And then I got to work on every single thing. And then I better play it every day for a couple days or I won't remember it. Some people, man, and you make me the sickest. Just
Oh, thank you.
gray out off the air. Yeah, man. Good stuff. It's good times though. That's
You know
good.
what I've never been able to get a hold of? I can't sweep pick. Cannot do it. I've tried. Can't do it.
I got really decent at it because of, I say decent, not even a beginner level decent. Because when I went to U of A for guitar with David, he made me go every shape of a chord up and down the neck, and you just learn to sweep it, and it just comes natural, as you learn all the notes. As so, let me bring this back for 2 seconds and say this is foundational. You have people who care about you, who care about your success in whatever you're doing, and we're going to take care of you. But now we're over here talking about the friendship aspect. So uh, we believe in music, believe it's good for you.
Oh
And
yeah.
it takes your mind and gives you at least a different perspective because you learn to work as a team. You learn
Well,
to listen.
and they say that math is like the fingerprint of God. You know.
Say it
Have,
is. I
have
don't
you?
know if
Okay.
it's true.
Well, math maybe the fingerprint of God, but music is the soul. You know, not to wax too philosophically, but you know, I mean, you've got vibrations are the building block of literally everything,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all music is. So
And what holds time in its hands?
yeah,
Music, man, like the piano. Time itself.
I used to play the piano back when I was like super young, like 5, 6, 7. I don't know how the hell I did it. I can't
Yeah.
do that now.
I still have one right behind me. It's my favorite instrument to play. I'm not good at it, but
I've got my keyboard, and it's a full size keyboard, 80 however many keys over there in the corner.
yeah,
I've used it once.
I think mine's, well, it's a rolling stage, so it's an 88. It might be a 76 key. I can't remember.
I don't think mine's are 88. I think mine's like, did they make one that's like, well, what did you say, 70?
76.
Yeah, that's got to be what mine is. I don't know what brand that is. Oh, okay. It's a Casio, which I mean,
I've
I
had
didn't.
Casios when I
I
lived
wish
in.
I had. I wish I
We,
had weighted keys though. You know,
I
it
do
doesn't have the.
semi-weighted.
Do what?
I do semi-weighted.
Yeah, these they're not, and unfortunately, and it was expensive too. It was more than Amber wanted me to pay.
We are so far off track here, brother. We're still.
Yeah.
Hey
Well, if
guys,
anybody
well,
if
go ahead.
anybody is still
Me
watching, you know,
and
sorry.
Chris will keep on to talking. Hope you enjoyed hanging out with us tonight. This is an every night thing. So we build tools and we talk about ways to improve ourselves by using these tools in our everyday life. Like we're talking about helping kids now. Now we're on a nerve. We're talking about using these tools to bridge education. We're talking about using these tools to do great things. And it just takes a few people who are great to do great things, don't take much. So enjoy your night. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Adios.
Adios.
Congratulations and welcome to the CPWE family. We're thrilled to have you join us on your journey to online success. We know you're eager to get started and we're here to help you every step of the way. First things first, let's get you acquainted with your CPWE dashboard. You'll find everything you need right here. We've designed it to be intuitive and easy to use so you can access the tools and insights.
She's awesome, brother.
Yeah.
We've created a wealth of resources to help you master CPWE. Those are on the landing page of each tool. Remember, our team is here to help support you. Don't hesitate on reaching out with any questions. You are joining a community of forward-thinking professionals who are leveraging the power of AI to elevate their online presence. Welcome aboard. We're excited to be part of your success story. So, what are you waiting for? Log in, explore the platform, and start unlocking your full potential.